All right, folks, we are finally back, and it is time for the semifinal. We were waiting for the third and final map to complete of the ex-paiN gaming match. It does say Denial Esports at the top. Please ignore that. It is not Denial Esports playing. It is actually ex-paiN Gaming, the Brazilian team that is going to be playing in this match. I think in game it's going to say ex-paiN Gaming, but don't be surprised. They are ex-paiN Gaming, as far as I've been told. So there we go. It's updated now. So yeah, the Renegades versus ex-paiN. And this is a semifinal. The winner of this goes on to play Team Liquid, who already played their semifinal versus Otter Esports, who I didn't even really realize until today was actually a semi-decent team. So I was a little bit surprised to see them making it that far until I saw the roster, and I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But anyway, the winner of this one goes on to play Team Liquid in the Grand Finals, and then the winner of the Grand Finals is going to be claiming the one and only North American qualification slot at DreamHack Masters Malmö, coming up in just about a month or so here. So it should be a pretty decent match, actually. Now, as the Renegades slumped a little bit, specifically on this map, where they started off on, they did lose it, I should say, to oh goodness. They lost it to their previous opponent just in the last match there when we saw them. They actually did win their previous match too. One, of course, managing to push their way forward here, but in a bit of a surprise, they actually ended up losing this first map, and went down pretty direly, especially in the best. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice a little bit here. Especially in the first half too. So we'll have to hope that they can correct that a little bit and not have those same problems against ex-paiN here and end up losing that map as well, starting down 0-1. Renegades had to come back and actually, reverse sweep the last two maps in order to win out the series there. So they were constantly under pressure. Thankfully, they completely destroyed Cash, and then the third map as well went pretty well in their favor. They started off 9-0. Did get a little bit closer towards the end, but they were still able to close it out. So anyway, into the pistol round, where ex-paiN actually start off with the very first kill of the series, taking down Ustillo, and that's Landon that picks up that kill. For the other CTs, though, they're getting very aggressive right outside of the B bomb site. You can already see two players having pushed their way out from here, and a few more now from the T side. The remaining four on the Renegades going for a group up right over here by the bathrooms and looking to try and push themselves over towards the A bomb site. The thing is, though, is the ex-paiN, because of the fact they've seen literally no pressure over here, they're going to be able to read into that. And now Landon lands himself a second kill and a third, so clean from him, as he finally goes down to JKS. But at the same time, DZT comes in on a flank. He's already picked up one, and now Nifty basically is going for the plant. He'll get it, but he'll also be instantly shot back out as DZT claims those final two kills, and it's a relatively flawless pistol round here from ex-paiN. The only problem is that they did allow their opponents to get away from the plant, so that enables the possibility for a third round buy. We'll see how the Renegades want to play it, though, because some teams do just directly use all of that extra money to force into the second round instead and try to get the lead right from the start instead of, letting their opponent get the 2-1 and then risk losing the trade round after that gun round, potentially. So anyway, it's looking like the Renegades are going to go along the much more traditional route here of saving up completely in the second round, at most buying a P250 and maybe a flashbang or so, and then buying up completely on the third round. Now, because they didn't buy any smokes or anything, this is going to make it a little bit difficult to be able to, actually be able to pick up a full buy in that third round, just because of the fact that getting the plant here is going to be slightly more difficult as a result of not having any smokes or anything like that to get onto the site with, especially with Chelak already spotting these players trying to go down that bathroom connector. So you can bet rotations are probably going to be working their way over towards this A site in a relatively quick fashion, although apparently not quick enough, or at least the spot didn't happen well enough, as both Nekis and Tadazin are both still sitting over here. Thankfully, the natural A players are still defending things quite well, and they pretty much shut down that round, not even giving the Renegades a chance at all. So 2-0 start, no kills at all for the Renegades in that second round. And even in the first round, the Renegades only managed to pick up one player in the pistol, so really rough start for these guys. But again, first two rounds only, so we're at the very, very beginning of the match. Nothing to postulate upon just yet. Now is when we see that buy. But as I said, the buy's not going to be relatively perfect. They are going to be missing it off, and beyond just smokes and flashbangs, they're not going to have amazing utility either. They're not going to have like mollies or anything like that, which are very useful on the T side of this map, considering how hunkered down the CTs can be in these positions, which are impossible to penetrate on certain routes. But looking at the situation here, it's a nice slow start again for the Ts. They're not really trying too hard to move in for early map control. They are okay. They just sit back and wait down the timer a tad. DZT being one of those players now that's trying to get a little bit more aggressive, trying to force the hand of the Renegades. But at the moment, it's not working. He just went back in there to reapply a smoke to stop Renegades' roster from being able to move in and take connector control. And it's working. I mean, neither AZR or Nexa are choosing to challenge through that smoke. So they did wait out its whole duration. This is not too uncommon, though, for the Renegades. They're a team which we've already seen it in the last match that they just played there, where they have very little problem waiting out the timer and, you know, going for very low-timed executes with 30 seconds, even 25 seconds remaining on the clock there, despite maybe not even having great intel besides just what they may have gotten from counter-stratting and things like that. In terms of referencing to what exactly they're going to find on the enemy site. So, and you're going to see a great example of that right here, is they are going for the execute with only 30 seconds left. Trying to throw a fake. Nifty got 1 kill, but I doubt that 1 kill is going to be enough to throw it. I mean, at the very least, it did keep a few of these guys at bay. The problem is that the B site defenders are still doing quite well. They've dropped the bomb. Nefty is now going to be able to move in, get himself a 3rd kill before finally going down to Ustilo. The damage already being done, though, and as the rotates move back in, Ustilo only has 10 seconds to both get that plant and get 2 kills. He's not even going to get the 1. Shallow King shuts him down, and that is going to be paiN's 3rd round now, and putting Renegades onto probably another just full save here, as they look to wait till the 5th round before they buy up again. So not the best start for the Australians, unfortunately. They're going to have to work from the backside, same as their initial matches. And right now, paiN are trying to keep themselves nice and quiet, but they do have a lot more aggression panning out into the bathrooms this time. Landon specifically is probably going to have himself a little bit of a ball game in a second. Whereas the Renegades were also trying to throw a bit of pressure towards that B site. It's nothing serious, and ultimately Landon is able to easily handle this double push of players on short A. So takes them both down. The remaining 3 are split up, separated, and the bomb is still way, I think, at the bottom of the ladder, at the very start of lower tunnels. So, like, in all reality, Renegades don't even seem to have a good plan together at this point, so paiN's going to have no problem executing upon that one. And again, having another flawless round, absolutely 0 kills against them. And that's continued to be the wayside. In fact, there's only 4 kills in total. So it's 1 kill per round, essentially, that the Renegades have managed to get so far. And besides that, well, it's been pretty pitiful. And it's actually been contained within just 2 rounds. They've killed 3 of them on the gun round and 1 of them on the pistol. They've gotten 0 kills so far on their ecos, which is not good. You'd hope that the Renegades would be able to at least impact a little bit here, but at the moment they're falling flat. That's going to change things up, though, as Landon, JKS, the molly toss, and the spray into exactly where he tossed the molly through the wall. And then when all the damage is done, the molly will finish off the job for him. Nicely played on the opener by JKS. That's going to completely burn Landon out, giving them a nice opening advantage into the 5v4. That's what they needed to start off with. And the best part is it's one rogue player and... Oh. Okay. Good joke. Good meme. Just stab your teammate in the back and knock off 60 of his health. So anyway, the rest of the Renegades probably going to try to push towards something like an A hit here in a moment. Timer's still high, so you're probably not going to expect to see them executing, you know, immediately soon here, but they will start to move in and try to get a little bit more map control. And now with these next 10 seconds or so is when you'd start to see them actually pushing in. But again, they haven't really done like a great job of scouting out what's in the site. So the problem is going to be they haven't really investigated it. And once again, Cello King escaping with at least 2 kills finally goes down at the hands of Nifty. And Nifty, however, is going to be able to battle it back quite nicely. Rotates are on the way up, but the Renegades completely cleared out the A bomb site now. It's only Tadazin left alive, trying to win on a 1v3. So this was a good follow-up from the Renegades. Definitely could have gone badly with Cello King opening up with those initial 2 kills. However, thankfully, the follow-up from the Renegades' own end was nearly flawless. No trades after Cello King got those initial 2 kills, and that's what really sealed it. Because of the fact that those kills happened so quickly, too, Tadazin really is given no chance to respond to it. It's looking like he's trying to work his way into the CT tunnels now. However, I don't necessarily believe he's going to make a full-blown attempt. and trying to go back into the site. At most, hunting down 1 or 2 players that would go back through these CT tunnels to try and hunt him down. But that would be it. And that's exactly what you can see as he's done now. He didn't spot anyone, so just backs out to avoid the explosion. And thankfully, he's in a pretty good position to where the Renegades didn't suspect him to be in those tunnels, so he has no problem saving the AK. Plus, they're rich at this point anyway, because of how few players have died. Keep in mind, that was a 4-round streak, and I think Cello King was sitting at like 11K or something like that. So that's a huge amount of cash flow for being only 5 rounds into the game at that point. Moving into the 6th round here now. paiN are going to be still in an okay position as a result of that huge cash flow. And early on, they do some great damage to JKS from across the spray spot. Trades are going to be happening all over the place, but at the end of it, it does end up favoring the Renegades. A 2-1. Now could be a 3-1 if Nifty hit that shot. Oh, why is he giving him more opportunities to hit it? He legged him on the second attempt, but Nekez is still alive right now. And is now allowed to fall back into the B bomb site, only having the intel of the Opper. Azure almost stealing another frag there too. Quite a few close calls here. paiN players super aggressive on their peaks and potentially just giving up their own lives multiple times here in the round. But since they didn't get those kills though, the Renegades only have a one-man advantage to play off of, and it's looking like they are going to look to get everyone together, or at least most of their player base together, before they eventually go for this push, which is probably going to lean itself into A now. 3 at A long. Nexid is trying to distract as he solo lurks. There's already not a whole lot of presence sitting in this site. He spots the boost up, but he can't lock onto the headshot from Tadazin there quickly enough. Regardless, though, it's left his only Landon down in this site, and he gets one knocked out seconds later. It'll be a 2v2 in the site, but the third player is on the way up through the connector steps now. Nekez has given good ideas to where they are, and they're actually going to boost up Tadazin here, so we'll see if he can spot anything over it. I think he was about 2 seconds too late on that boost, as he might have been able to catch Nexa. In fact, he still can look for Nexa there, and there you go. There's the pickup that evens it down into a 2v2. The remaining 2 players from the Renegades are scattered, and the one that's most prevalent to these paiN members is going to be JKS sitting behind the dumpster in bank here right now. Nifty, in the meantime, is way back trying to distract as he tosses the molly out. He's done a great job at distracting, though, as both Tadazin and Nekez are moving together to try and push towards that, and they're walking, shift walking, now crouch walking right into an op. That's not going to work. Nifty is going to be ready for that, and as you can see here now, Nekez continues to walk, mainly because of the fact that he wants to try and get out of the site. JKS barely escapes. Both members of the Renegades stay alive, and that is a nice cleanup for them as they pick up a second now and are on the warpath to get back into this game. paiN's money is also going away in an extremely quick fashion, too. They should have enough to rebuy here. There's no reason why they shouldn't. The 6.7k should make up for the other players that are kind of below the limit. But no, actually, they decide not to go for the full buy this time. They're going to save and mainly just work off of Deagles. 3 Deagles, 157 on Tadazin, and then Landon going with a P250 as he's more than likely saving for the op. They definitely, at a first glance anyway, could have forced into that one, so it's a little bit curious that they didn't go for it. It is looking like that they'll start to group up over towards the bathroom connector again, though. And this is where paiN have a big stack of players. 3 Deagles sitting here. They're facing away now to avoid the flashbang, and now let's see it. Cello gets one. Nekez gets another one, and now Nifty just gets completely overwhelmed. The 3-man Deagle stack works miracles for paiN. They've got to be careful, though, as in moving out to recover. Nexa trades, but Cello King is there to counter it right back, taking out Nexin, leaving only 1 player alive on the T side. It's all up to JKS, who's only just now arrived at A long. With 30 seconds remaining to try and do something about this, DZT has found him, so there we go. The bells are tolling, the rotations are on the way to block this guy in, not letting him get anywhere here, as paiN are going to pull off a miracle round to be able to keep control of their lead and push up to a 5-2 advantage. It's not even appearing as though JKS is going to attempt to go for the plant. He's just falling back looking to save the AWP. He's got to be careful, though. They've got him boxed in, and they can just let the timer run out and then kill him, which would really hurt his money. I don't think the Renegades have a whole lot of cash left over here, so JKS realizes that. He does go down, I think, with 1 second left on the clock, so he should get the losing bonus. If they waited one more moment there, they could have killed him and prevented him from getting it at all. It wouldn't have been a huge deficit, but it would have denied him, I think, of like the $1,700 or $1,800 you get off of a first-round losing bonus, though. And he would have basically had nothing for the next round. And then would have cost him, I don't know, like armor and utility or something, or he would have had to downgrade to a UMP the next time his team a full bot. Renegades, again, essentially just go fishing here for any opening advantages that they can get, and while they're going to find one, there's no defense at all positioned over here towards A-Long, and what's even worse, oh no, the A-Long guy distracts the player in the bathroom, so now Cello King gets pulled off of his position, and another flank kill is gained. DZT finally trading one back, but then he's also traded out by Ustillo. It's a domino reaction at this point, and paiN can't get it back under control. It's eventually brought down to a 3v1 with Tadazin attempting to clutch here for the Brazilian side. So paiN is going to look to see what he can do here. Spotting Nexa on the jump up. That's the plant spot. That's been pretty obvious. AZR just giving himself up, though. I'm wondering why he didn't take a shot at first. I guess the angle was a little bit weird. And now the molly, that's going to force him into the open. He's dead. And that's now the AK down. So this just got a whole lot easier for Tadazin to clutch. He is getting a little bit low on time, but thankfully he has the kit to play off of. But he does need to move now and start getting into the open. Nexa sees that one. There's one more kill. And now only one more to contain. It's JKS sitting way back over here. He's got his knife out, switches over at the last second. JKS trying to run, just wasting time here in all reality, but wasting time and getting the kill is enough to win the round for the Renegades as they piece it together and eco paiN right back, bringing it up to 3-5 in the favor of paiN still, but that's definitely going to hurt paiN in the long run, especially if the Renegades can translate that into a gun round victory now, which is another situation where it's like, okay, does paiN buy here? They definitely have the money in excess since Tadazin had that like 7K. So he should have been able to drop one for Nekaz, I think was the other player that was low. But maybe not. Maybe he dropped... No, yeah, okay. He did get the M4. I was just a little bit delayed there. And now Nexa made a mistake. Okay, apparently not. I was about to say, made a mistake in not checking this shelf, but seems to have not mattered. Landon wasn't ready for it anyway. And then Nekaz does move his way out to trade that back. So that happens quite a bit so far in this match. I think we can safely say that there's been a lot of just free kills at the beginning of rounds due to over-aggression. It's almost always been traded back within the next like 5 to 10 seconds. Well, things are still relatively calm across the map. Tadazin is still just patiently waiting for a monster push to come his way. I don't think he's going to get that, but Nekaz does find one more player pushing out into water. And that's Nifty going down here, whereas Cello King still hunting, spots bathroom pressure. In a moment here, should be good to call for some more reinforcements as they're not spotting anything. And also DZT is working his way on a flank. There's Cello getting a nice double kill from up on the site before he does eventually go down. Ustillo will get the plant, I believe. Yeah, there's a player in bathrooms. Was surprised to peek out earlier. In fact, Ustillo is given time to recover and get that kill. So he's got a real chance to clutch this now. Ustillo is going to be over here behind the APC. He is assuming that both players will work their way in just from the B-bomb side, and he's correct to assume that. Now he needs to actually clutch this one out, but both players giving themselves away. Neither of them shift walking. Oh my goodness, Nekaz jumping across takes a huge risk, but it still pays off as he's able to flick back over there. Has to do a double take, but he spots Ustillo and takes down the last man alive for the Renegades, allowing for another round to go up on the board for paiN. It'll be 6-3 now, doubling the Renegades' scoreline once again. Cello out through A long, finding himself yet another pickup this time. And he's got the bomb down too. Oh my goodness, so many free kills that paiN keep getting away with here now. And even when it's the Renegades that manage to get the first kill, it's always paiN that seem to trade it right back. There's a little bit of aggression and they make wonders work as the Renegades are losing so many players by just not watching their flanks. And that's going to be another time that that'll happen here in this round. JKS found out too, so he'll get knocked away. Yustillo finally able to trade onto Cello, but the damage has been done, and DZT is now playing towards the tree, so he'll knock out Nexa, and now it's just Yustillo with a measly 10 HP. DZT did not spot the pop flash coming up over the bush, but somehow Yustillo only got 30 damage off onto DZT in the time that he was flashed and in the open. So definitely expecting him to get the kill there. I'm not sure if he got hit by his own flash or something like that, but definitely not the situation. The situation definitely not playing on the way that he would have wanted it to. So now this goes 7-3 as paiN continue to push forward on their CT side, mainly being led by Cello King there at 15 frags currently. The next highest is 6 behind him. DZT sitting at 9, but he's the only player in this server so far to get up to double digits, let alone 15 of them in the match. There's still up. Landon. Bit of a chaotic battle happening over here towards the edge of A long. But even after Landon goes down, Tadazin is still there to support him too. And now over here towards the connector, DZT does have to back out of connector itself after a kind of awkward battle with Nexa was awry. Nexa still being cautious of a flank against him from that same player. And he's right to assume so, as DZT is going to push back down. Nexa firing just a little bit too early there. He did peek out into the open. Now, though, he's got the sight, so Nexa's no longer in a troubled spot anymore. Now he's fighting to maintain control of his own territory instead of just staying alive. And that's exactly what the Renegades want, is this full control of the site. They can now smoke out the doorway. Tadazin can use that smoke, however. That's a very sloppy smoke in the way that it's been positioned. So he can go out and then sleuth around it because there's nobody watching for the alt tunnel. Problem is, though, is that Tadazin doesn't necessarily realize that. So he's not going to take the risk on it. Instead, he's already falling back to save, and the same can be said for DZT back in the playground right now. They're going to be giving up on this round, and they'll just let the Renegades have a fourth. Nexa actually does find himself dead there just a moment after the round ends. So one more going down, and that's one more player that isn't going to be able to build up any economy coming off the previous round here. So 4-7. They are kind of rounding a little bit of a comeback here. They just need to make sure they don't get crushed again. They're finally making a dent in that CT economy too. You can see Nekiz is already down onto his UMP currently. And once again, JKS, really great timing on the spray. I think you know, like 3 out of 4 of the times he's tried to go for that spray, he has hit for 30 or 40 damage. So he's been really good at timing that properly, and almost every time he's hit someone on paiN Gaming for a pretty significant amount of health. This time it's about a third of Tadazin's HP that gets knocked off there. Exactly a third. So after that, though, the issue here for the Renegades is they still need to find a footing to work off of to get onto a site. And they're already, in a moment, going to have to worry about some flanks. JKS watching for it, but still can't counter it. And Cello also getting himself a kill, too, against Nexa has not helped their case. Nifty did trade one onto Landon, but that's the only trade they've gotten so far. For whatever reason, though, Cello King is not watching up on top. So he just leaves himself completely exposed to a push from Yustillo, and now this is even again, down to a 3v3. It's still 2 out of 3, the CTs and the B-bomb sit, though, so they got picked the harder of the 2 fights. But DZT, oh, he had a chance to end the round right there. But at the very least, he did massive damage and set up Tadazin for an easy 1v2 clutch. Both these guys are 1 to 2 tappable. Azur definitely going to die in one shot. Nifty may need 2, depending on where Tadazin strikes. But there we go. 1 already being found in heaven. And that was the harder one of the 2 as well. So all that's needed now is to figure out exactly where Azur is. And Azur's definitely going to want to hide as long as he humanly can here. The second he gives himself up, he may as well be dead in the water anyway. So he's going to try to completely encircle Tadazin's route here, as I think it's planted in the open, but Tadazin's checking towards heaven, and he is going to be able to read into the way that that situation plays out, so very smart from him. And he'll have plenty of time to defuse that bomb and pick up an 8th round for his team here. The Brazilians continue to push forward. and continue to hold on to their lead despite little bumps in the road here and there. And it definitely has been bumpy, as you can see. Started off nice and strong with a 4-0 streak, but ever since then there's been little pips for the Renegades. Just hasn't been enough to really push back to a huge margin yet. And the Renegades are also going to end up being completely broken here for this 13th round. Only P250s and Tech 9s are all that they will have. A couple flashbangs to play off of here too. So Nek is getting one. That's taking down Nexa. And Tadazin also in position. JKS moves in and sneaks in one kill too, as is Ustillo, but it's not a huge thing at the end of the day here. JKS getting the plant would be a huge deal though, and yeah, actually they let him get away with that. That's a tad bit surprising, and yeah, you might want to watch that. Jello almost burns at his own teammates, Molly. But they do indeed win out the round again. And now that's going to push paiN up to 9. A lot more damage taken than one would necessarily suspect on a round like this, though. You can see Tadazin and Cello both almost died there, and that is where things could have spun out of control in the other direction if it did happen. DZT and Nekis are both going to be forced to revive. Thankfully, these extra deaths are not going to matter too much since we're getting so late into the half anyway. But still, looking at it from a long-term perspective, going on to maps 2 and 3, just keeping that in mind. The Renegades still, at the very least, have enough to buy in on this 14th round completely with full AKs and everything. All these from the CTs, though, are going to hold them back for a couple extra seconds. It was looking like they wanted to go for quick playground control. They can't do that anymore. But this Molly should make it super obvious that someone from the CT side got aggressive and pushed into playground. So you can already see a couple of the guys from the Renegades not even pushing back out, ready to challenge against Cello King, but it doesn't matter. Cello King is the king of pushing. And as he pushes forward, he once again claims another victim. That's Ustillo gone down this time. There is a trade back. In fact, 2 trades from JKS. Now a third, too, from Azur. As he does take down Cello King. Tadazin fell before DZT trying to save it with one pickup over here in the B bomb site, but it's not enough. All of a sudden, this is spun completely out of control for paiN, but Landon still got a chance. It's a nice close-up shot on Nexa to save his own life, but now he's down at 12 HP, and he just got hit really hard by that flashbang, too. So was denied a chance to take down Nifty on the retreat. He's going to try to be ultra quiet sticking up to this bomb. Succeeded in getting there without being spotted, but now still needs to pick up at least one of these 2 kills. And Nifty's waiting right around the corner. There you go. They just stack right up to give them maximum odds, and they already had Landon lit up. So it was going to be an easy kill anyway. I was hoping Landon would try to play with the bomb a little bit more to get those guys to peek, but no, he took the fight head on. And as a result, did go down. Not a single hit going on to either 2 of those remaining Renegades players. 9-5 will be our score going into the final round of the half. And the Renegades now, I believe, on a full losing bonus. Actually, no. Excuse me. With the winning bonus, I should say, in their accounts, they do manage to also continue their buy forward into the final round. But paiN, well, they're going to have to sacrifice a little bit here for the 15th round. 3 pistols, quite a few downgrades as well. Landon gets himself the op at the very least, but Cello King is onto a UMP and pretty much just gives himself up right at the start of the round there too. Nexa also follows that through with one more pickup, finding DZT. So things will start great for paiN here in the 15th round, as they already go down 3v5 and only bring Nexa to 20 HP, so he's still alive and well. Landon solo peeking here. Tadazin at the very least distracting, saving Landon's life. But JKS is still very much alive and well here, too, and he can spot that rifle from a mile away, so JKS is going to be able to finally complete the frag onto Landon. And then up on top, Ustillo takes down Nekis to finish off the half. 6-9, as the Renegades claim at least one more there in their total before the round closes out, before the half closes out. paiN still at 9, so they've got a little bit more work to do to really shoot ahead here, especially on T side, by letting the Renegades get 6 rounds there. They've given them a nice primer. Well, if they win the pistol round, then don't get ecoed in the second, but they could come back from and very quickly tie it up and take the lead to possibly take this first map, too. And this map pick, I think, was paiN's, but let me double check. Yeah, so this was paiN's map pick. This is the second time today, at the very least. I'm not sure about the round of 16 because we didn't cover the Renegades there, but this also got picked against the Renegades in their quarterfinal match, too. So this is the second time today someone's picked it against them, and Renegades have been okay with playing it, despite the fact that they lost it earlier. And then Renegades also picked Cash for the second map. No surprise there. They kind of crushed it earlier, so I imagine they're feeling good even against a team like paiN. And then our third map that we need to go to it is going to be on Cobblestone this time, which is that's where, in my opinion, things get very interesting, just because of the Just because of the regional kind of advantage that paiN gets there. Brazilian teams in general tend to be relatively good on cobblestone. SK is probably the best one out of most of them. But it's a general rule of thumb that that region in general tends to be really good at that map. It's kind of like the Danes and the nuke thing. But the Renegades are quite a decent team on that map as well. Getting a little bit off track though, so let's jump back in here and focus on this pistol round. paiN, after some delay here, not really utilizing the first 30 seconds or so of the round, but they are grouping up now. Even trying to jump over Monster. They really want to keep this all-in play a secret as long as they can. Well, it's not a secret anymore. JKS is going to be aware of this and tries to stop it, but a flashbang out of nowhere blinds both the CTs in the pit. Now they're scrambling to try and hold control of this one, but it's not going to pay out. Rotations, as you can see, are quickly arriving here, but at the same time, paiN is scrambling themselves. They've lost a lot of players due to these quick rotations that are on their way from the CT side. And they've been able to just keep it even in a 3v3. Not even mentioning the fact that both chelloking and DZT are now sitting below 50 HP. So those guys are very delicate against those USPs. And there we go. Nifty already tagging on the one more. Jumps to check the pit. They know that that's relatively clear. So they're going to be free to push in and retake about half the site. I like this boost that's coming in from the other side of it, but cheloking's going to die in a moment here, so they need to complete this boost right now and start fragging with it. It's not enough to spot the defuse on the bomb, so they do destack it. DZT looking for a frag pickup as well, but no, Ustilo holds the line, gets one, and is wasting time so that the defuse can complete, and the Renegades can pick up the second half pistol and start their comeback, which they're going to do. So it'll be Tech 9s and a single ump for chelloking across the paiN Gaming buy as they do just decide to go all in on this one here. Instead of waiting for the third round investment, they do force it up right now. And paiN are going to go in a very straightforward fashion towards the B-bomb site too. Already smokes and mollies and whatever being tossed into the site. So quick execute from them. Renegades really not even challenging it beyond these smokes. They're basically just going to let paiN have it for right now. They know they're not working with the best guns. That is a bit dangerous, though, considering their guns aren't terrible, but I'm not sure what Nekis' goal was there. There's a huge stack of CTs. If you're trying to push them out, it's not going to work. There is a team kill in the midst as the Renegades do get a little bit confused, but ultimately, paiN just sacrificed themselves to the Australians. And with that, it goes down to a 3v1. Tadazin now, the last man left standing here, tries to sneak in a denial on the defuse, but it does not pan out, and the Renegades will close out on this second round. They get 2 kills in another plant, but considering that they completely forced into it, that first plant is going to be made a little bit inept since they did completely buy out here. And now they have to go for a bit more of a preserved buy since they do need to focus up on that first gun round coming up after this. It'll just be Deagles this time. And for some, they won't buy anything at all. Nekis specifically will only work with his Glock. There's a nice boost. Inside of the connector steps this time. Tadazin as well through the smoke. Tagging JKS. It's only like a leg though. So I think it only does 13 damage. Not a huge deal. Yeah, meanwhile, over here for paiN, they are still trying to keep this push on A long a bit of a secret, hoping that someone from the CT side is going to move out to contest it, or just try and check for intel over at A long. The Renegades haven't really shown a whole lot of player presence towards A long so far, just in general here, mainly because of the fact that paiN almost countered out every single time, but in comes this nice and, wow, very accurate flank from Nifty. I was expecting things to go wrong considering the range he was taking there, but that MP7 just completely deleted both of those players. Finally, these A-long guys do go into the site, but they don't have the bomb. So even if they took control of the site, they wouldn't have really gained much from it besides trapping themselves. And ultimately, both of them do just go down, giving the Renegades their 9th round, and that's also the tying round, as this is the same score that paiN has at the moment. But going into this 4th round now, we do have finally another full investment coming out for the Brazilian squad. So they're going to be on 4 AKs and a single op there for Landon. Landon with a glass cannon op too, so he takes a bit of a risk on this, hoping he can pay off and pick up kills at range, but he's got to be careful. Burning all around him. Cello King and Nekes, though, opening up with some entries at A-Long, and they find Nexa trying to push out through Party too. So the Renegades get completely deleted. Nifty trying to make up for this now with a kill over here in the lower tunnels. He does get that frag. Unfortunately, it means very little until they can pick up at least 2 more here and try and even this back out. But paiN is not really following through after they got these kills. They're still holding back. They're still being a little bit cautious. So it's giving time for the members of the Renegades to potentially regroup and re-strategize of how they want to try to play off this 2v4 now. And they have just split themselves up 1-to-1, each playing within their respective site. Nifty now downstairs in B. And then we have JKS upstairs playing onto the A site. paiN are going to take the B route, seemingly. So that's going to put the pressure on Nifty, who is already back here. Ready to try and take this fight. paiN are playing this so quietly, though. Right up until Monster. They haven't made any noise at all, so Nifty's not sure what to expect. He's going to see it coming now, and instantly the rotate starts working its way over here from JKS as Nifty tries to waste a little bit of time, too, before committing. But, oh, no. When he goes out, it's a complete whiff, and it's a complete pre-fire that he misses here, so now it's all on JKS. And while he did arrive in time, he only had a UMP, and he was wide out in the open on the CT sidewalk. So paiN do shut up both of those remaining Renegades players with relative ease, and that allows them to maintain their lead just as they were about to lose it 10-9. That's how their scoreline will go. But the Renegades, well, their economy will not necessarily sustain that well. They will just buy into this one. It's going to be a CZ round, basically. Nexa, the only one that doesn't go for that, as he goes for a Deagle instead. So 4 to 5, potentially 5 out of 5, depending on which one Nexa has, since he bought a Deagle this round. We don't know for sure, but that's 4 to 5 players on CT side that are using CZs instead of the 5.7s. Interestingly enough. Moving into this one, though. paiN wasting no time. Very straightforward strategy from them. It is going to lead to some losses, as you already have seen. Azur and JKS being the ones to spot those. Shellking's got to be a little bit careful. He did just run himself out of ammo there. Now in pushing back out. Nice shot from Azur. However, there's support coming in from the backside through the smoke. DZT already traded onto Azur. So he's going to go and get knocked out, and this will be brought into a 2v2. They already know that there's 2 stacked down on B, so they're swinging the players in the other direction. And paiN will just look to try and execute on A instead, which at the moment they're just going to walk right up to it. I don't think the Renegades has caught on to this plan just yet. They're still kind of slowly evacuating from B in the event that the site take what happened here. But I don't think that's going to be a possibility anymore. So they do need to get the heck up towards the A bomb site before it's too late. And before paiN already get control of it, which is going to happen right about now. DZT is still going a bit slowly to try and check towards the more precarious positions that the CTs could be hiding out at. But now that he's gotten all the way to bank and hasn't seen anyone, he should call for his teammate to move it in plant. And actually, they basically both get there at the same time. That's just the CTs aren't really active of going up to the site itself. They're still kind of hanging back on the dumpster steps. Our perspective on DZT for right now, unless the CTs try to retake themselves. Because paiN is going for a straight circumnavigation maneuver here to try and go through over towards those steps. Oh, and the Renegades players have no idea this is coming. Spotting them both moving out. Nifty has a little bit of coverage to work off of, but it doesn't matter. DZT just gets that free double kill, and paiN will get themselves an 11th round here now as they shoot ahead by 2 rounds. And with that one save, though, Renegades are able to buy up again. You'll note that that was only like a half buy round from the Renegades, with primarily just CZs and I think the 1 Deagle. So they don't buy up too heavily in that last one at all, but they get very close to winning it, bringing it down to that 2v2. It's just at the very end they kind of louse it up and end up losing the actual round. Now they've got another chance to strike back and try to continue this comeback that they've been working for since the beginning of this half. It is once again much more active presence from the Renegades this time around as Azur gets himself the nice double kill. That's both Nekes and Cello King that are found trying to push towards the entrance of Short A and getting dispatched by a nice player hiding out inside of the connector. Nifty as well, still looking for any players that would try to challenge in the lower tunnel. The best player in a position they have besides those tunnel guys is going to be Tadison, way up towards Monster. But going through Monster at this point, with the way that the players are set up, is essentially just his own suicide call, so he needs to be very, very careful about this. and wait until his teammates are in a better position to go for this execute. After losing both Cello and Renegades, though, they are a little bit cautious on waiting to line up this actual execute. They're also a bit scarce on utility, only having those 2 smokes and a couple Molotovs to play off of here now. So they need to be very careful about their positioning, and at the moment, it's just not panning out for them. Landon somehow actually did burn Nex out, I think due to the awkward positioning of the mollies, and Nifty almost got hit by that too. Despite killing 1 player with the molly, though, it doesn't seem to have mattered, as it's all down to DZT now with 25 seconds left. He's going to give up on this pursuit. He'll fall back, and he'll let the Renegades get themselves a 10th round. Again, they're just 1 away from tying this up. Thankfully for DZT, I don't think anyone is going to get close enough to him in time to contest. So despite the fact that he doesn't get himself the nice losing bonus there, he'll still end up with a relatively similar amount of cash to the rest of his teammates. And he has already got himself basically the full buy. Pause will come in now. I'm going to assume it's from paiN. This is also an important gun run for the Renegades. This is kind of where they messed things up last time. But paiN more than likely having to make a decision as to whether they... There's no reason why... Well, and actually there is a reason why they wouldn't. Tadison did already buy up armor, though, so they are kind of fully committed to this one. It's going to be an uneven buy if they decide to only half buy here now. Because Tadison still has to buy a pistol. So that's going to bring him down to sub 1k. Unless he buys a PT-50, of course. So it's a bit of a precarious situation that paiN are in here, as they're just on the line of being able to force... DZT should be able to drop a rifle for Tadison, though, if they do it. He just won't have great utility. I think he can only get like 1 or 2 more nades if he buys a FAMAS. Meanwhile, on the Renegades side, this is what would probably propel that decision forward to force here, is that the Renegades are really low economically right now. You can look at that money. It's not great. Nifty has that 3.3k, but besides that, the most money they have is under 2k. And some don't have anything at all. So there is a reason why they could force here, and it would be to break the CT economy and reset them completely. And that assumes, of course, that no one from the CT side saves. There's been a lot of disconnected battles happening on this match, which means that there's a pretty large chance, in my opinion, that someone from the Renegades would end up alive after the main, group of combat has happened, and that 1 or 2 players would be able to escape, keeping a rifle in check. And that may activate the force buy going into the 8th round. But we'll see. The money's dire enough as it is, where even 1 or 2 players saving may not be enough, since Nifty is really the only one that would be able to go for it on his own. And we should remind you guys, too, that this is a semi-final. Qualification is not on the line for either of these teams just yet. They still have to beat Team Liquid in the grand final in order to actually earn the spot at Malmö. And this is only the first map in this set, too. So Cash is coming up after this one, and the Cobblestone is the 3rd and final map. Well, we're getting into it here now. paiN did decide to force buy into it. So 2 Tech 9s, 1 UMP on Cello King. Obviously the saved AK for DZT. And Landon also going to go for the UMP route there. So it actually is not the worst buy in the world for paiN. It's a pretty decent stack up, actually. It's just about making it work properly and not getting completely crushed by the Renegades here, so that they can try to keep their money low, which would be the main goal of buying into this round, would be to break them economically. And, well, they're going to go very quickly into that B-bomb site. Speaking of which, Nekis is leading the charge, but he just gets completely denied. Landon getting the only kill so far. Sorry for the T-Tors. And yeah, besides that Landon kill, JK ends up with a nice 4Ks. He just shuts everything down at Monster. And the Renegades do very quickly claim themselves an 11th. 11 to 11 there. And now they've tied it back up. And this is the opposite side of the coin flip here now, where paiN, yes, they did do that force, and now the problem is they have to pay the consequences. They have to full eco here. They can't afford to go buy into it again. And assumably that they lose this round, the Renegades will be able to take the lead as a result of losing that force. Now they can build up their economy, potentially a bit more for free, too. Nifty already hitting a first shot here against Cello King. DZT and a couple Well, they're still trying to work their way in towards short A, but they're up against such superior firepower now that it's in the hands of the Renegades that it's just not looking like they're going to be able to get anything done. As with great long-range control with the MP9, and now it is only down on Tatizen to try and clutch 1v5 with a P250. I don't know about your thoughts on this one, guys, but I don't think it's happening. It looks like I was right. Renegades close out, and now, for the first time in this match, if I remember correctly, they do take the lead here against paiN, 12-11. They finally rounded that comeback that they've been looking for so long. Now they just have to make sure that they keep the momentum rolling all the way up to 16 rounds and close out on the match. But standing in their way is going to be another immediate buy-in from paiN here, as they are ready for this. Whole AKs, not the best utility, but at the very least they have a couple of flashbangs that they can use to get crucial control of parts of the map. And paiN is going to be moving in both to the connector and out over here towards water. Landon already striking for one. There's only one more left inside of here. He's going to strike late, though, and that allows him to trade out some of these very important kills that keeps an advantage for the Renegades. The double kill from Yustilo and the late execute from him works out perfectly to make sure that the Renegades keep their advantage. And now, again, it's been brought down to Tatizen as he's in a 1v2. This all happened in the first 30 seconds of the round as well, so Tatizen does basically have an unlimited amount of time to play off of this. But he still has to. He still has to somehow win this one out with the bomb being on the ground already, and like I said, over a minute on the clock. It's looking like he just wraps around into the connector here. Nifty having nothing to do with this fight for some reason, though. He's way over here watching in the in heaven towards B. So he's disconnected from that bomb and is now no longer defending it. It is left in the open for Tatizen to grab this and run away with it towards either bomb site. And it's seeming like he's going to take the A option now. Only 20 seconds to get that thing onto the ground. So he does have to start moving here in a moment. Nifty, in the meanwhile, has stayed frozen like a statue downstairs there. And he's finally just now moving up as he used to bypass through this molly. Opponent should have been able to hear the tag, so he knows he's back here somewhere. And the jump, why? Ooh, the jump to try and spot for info just gives it away. Nifty jumps on that one immediately and executes in the 1v1. That's another round for the Renegades. And now they get to push forward even more. 13-11. And the intel jump, as we've seen so many times before, seals the deal for the opponent. So paiN, with a great start to this map, it's all gone by the wayside now. And they're once again into another just half buy. I don't know if they might have actually fully forced into this one. No, it's still about a half buy for them, since they have the money left over. But yeah, now they're just down on pistols again here. And the track record really for both these teams does not seem that great on these types of rounds. I think we had 1 or 2 attempts of ecos that went successfully, but that was kind of on both ends of the spectrum, so it's not like one team is better than the other currently. There is a chance, of course, here for paiN to win out this round. But the Renegades are looking much, much better. As similarly to their previous match, it did take them a while to get things going, but when they finally took control, they took control in a very, very big way. And that control carried forward into the second and third maps, too. So this is something dangerous for paiN if they do indeed end up dropping out this map here and allow the Renegades to go all the way up to 16 rounds. JKS getting ready for this one. He's got to be careful on his timing of those peaks, though. He does have a teammate to support, but he needs to give that teammate a chance to actually support him. If he just continues to peek back out wildly, he's never going to get that off. And now, moving back in, Nexa, JKS picking up kills. The trades work out okay for paiN, though, but they've lost one of their own players now down to 1 HP. That's Cello King, who's got to play extremely passively now as a result of all those hits he's taken. And a third player is also detached from this hit. It's all on Tatizen to make an effort here on the site, and he doesn't get it done. So DZT now has to work his way in from construction to try and make up for this one. He's still on the way back in. He's finally entered in through construction itself now, but he only has a deagle, and they've got 10 seconds left to plant. Cello, though, sneaks in a kill against the Heaven player. That's Nifty going away, and they've got this down to a 2v1. DZT waiting patiently, but his aim is off the mark. So AZR is able to sneak out one more kill, and then Yustilo seals the deal for the Renegades. as they close out with 2 left alive there. They'll go up to 14-11. Just 2 more rounds, and they have control of map number 1 here. And this would be potentially the last gun round for paiN too. As they do get a full AK investment, Landon even gets himself the op. It's going to be fast out through playground here, but flashbang's thrown against them, and it makes them mess up their own flashes too. So it's going to let Ustillo up, but Ustillo doesn't check that left side, so he actually throws himself away. Nekis gets away with one for free, and that's actually a pretty big deal. As now that's given paiN a free 5v4. There is 0 room for that to get traded in these next few seconds here. At least until paiN start to make moves again and try to get themselves out onto the site. Or try to take control of like water or something like that. Nexa's not even having anything to do with the construction aggression for right now, though, as a result of that loss. And Nifty is hunting for that extra kill to make up for the loss of his teammate. He's out. He wants to take battles at short A. And he needs someone to fight with here. But he also has to be very cautious of pressure from within the bathrooms itself, since he doesn't have anyone to naturally watch that for him. And there we go with a missed shot. And because he took the open battle, well, he loses himself. AZR, though, brings it back. He finds himself a nice 2K over here at the exit to the bathroom connector. And now he's going to have to look for more as the bomb's gone down next to him. He's not getting any immediate support. There's definitely players down long A, but he left himself out in the open too much. So Cello King trades it. He picks up that trade frag there against Azur. And now it's just Nexa and JKS. Thankfully, both of them are here. Both of them are in the A-bomb site ready to defend. But they did have to move one back downstairs in the event that they shifted this hit down through connector, which is the right call, as that's exactly what paiN are doing now. Down the steps, the remaining 3 are going to roll. And Nexa, not sure. Yeah, he heard the jumping now, so he's going to know that they're coming into this site. He's called for the rotate, immediately clotheslining one, trying to line up a second one, but it's through the wall, and he messes that one up, but JKS, the quick jump up. He finds another one here, bringing it down to just Tadazin now. A 1v1 to decide the fate, potentially, of this map. And there we go, JKS knocking off half the damage from Tadazin now. He just needs to finish the deal, but he can't get too over-aggressive, as that would also leave him in the open. Saw the repeat, knows he's back by a monster somewhere, but Tadazin's being smart. He's not directly taking the battle. He's trying to fish JKS away and waste as much time as he can. Tadazin's backed into a corner now, and he makes the aggressive repeat, but it's not enough as JKS will close out. Gets himself the saving 2K as he 1v2s the round and puts the Renegades up to 15. At the very least, with that plant being added back in, paiN were able to get themselves one more full buy, which includes the op, but everything that comes with it. So paiN may not be done just yet, but at the very least solidifies overtime for the Renegades. Now they just need to not mess up the next 4 rounds in a row. And they'll have this map under their wing. And a nice 1-0 start. While also stealing away the map pick from paiN, more importantly, too. As they're going to have to go over to Cash for their second map. paiN, you can see a bit of a fear here now as they're much more passive. Just a little bit of contention from one of the CTs in connector, and they immediately call it off. Everybody grouping up over here towards playground instead and trying to push in, excuse me, trying to push in towards bathrooms in the short A area. And doing it very strategically. I mean, just look at all the utility being used just to take what is otherwise situations, portions of the map, I should say, where you just go right for it, and everything falls apart for paiN. At the moment, trades 3-1. They've only lost Ustillo on the Renegade side. Cello King, Tadazin, and DZT have all gone down for paiN. It's down to Landon and Nekiz now to try and clutch this one back out. Otherwise, it's a Renegades map. Nekiz may have himself a free kill here, but oh no, runs out of ammo, gives Nifty another shot, but Nifty misses his too. So Nekiz back in this one. He's got the up. Wallbangs his opponent. Not enough for a kill, though, as Azur's left standing with 20 HP, but Nexa comes in on the flank to close out on the map, and it is going to be the Renegades that take it 16-11. They'll go up 1-0 in this map and have themselves an advantage. One more, and they will move on into the grand finals to face off against Team Liquid for qualification into the main event at DreamHack Malmö. But for right now, they just have that map advantage. The second map is coming up, guys, in just a few moments. It is going to be on Cash, so opportunity for either team to take it there. You're not going to want to leave. Stick with us. And the second map is coming up in just a couple seconds right here.